What is up, guys? It is Dekkster here, and this is gonna be the top decks for July video. These are gonna be the decks you want to play when you're trying to climb in July. Just going off of statistics and data that's been pulled by Vicious Syndicate. So, I mean, not too much has changed. The meta has somewhat stabilized, and by somewhat stabilized, I mean it's really kind of settled down, guys. There's not too much going on. The craziest thing that's happening right now, I'd say, is that Freeze Mage is number one. It is the best deck right now, hands down. I'd say Freeze Mage is just good at handling the aggro decks, just the token that's come up, the token evolve, and the token Druid. It's good at handling both of those. It's also good at handling Pirate. Just anything that's very aggressive. It has really good defense against that. I mean, it does struggle against more control-y decks, maybe like Jade Druid. It might struggle, but how many Jade Druids are there out there right now? Maybe that'll change, and I mean, the meta's always changing a little bit, but right now Freeze Mage is so good. Another really cool thing that I think is exciting is Paladin. Paladin is doing great right now, actually. John Bray actually just recently made a new like aggro deck, and he got rank 1 legend on the last day of June with it. So I'm definitely going to be linking. I've made a video playing that deck. That is a lot of fun. That is a good deck. I definitely recommend you guys check that one out. As far as everything else, Druid is seeing a spike, more tokens coming in. I mean, there's always been a bunch of tokens, but for some reason more tokens coming in because also Pirate saw a spike in popularity, Pirate Warrior. So token counters that, does really good against that. And it's kind of just the go-to deck for people trying to climb ranks and hit legend fast. So at the beginning of the month, lots of token Druids. Also, oddly enough, a lot of mid-range hunters, but that's actually kind of a reoccurring pattern. There's a bunch of mid-range hunters in the beginning of the season, so not too surprising on that front. But other than that, Hunter's not doing too good, and it's probably going to die down in the upcoming days, back to just how it was in June. Warlock, sadly, I think it's dead, guys. I think Warlock's dead. Warlock's not terrible, but overall the play rate of it is just 1.5% of players play Warlock. So what are the odds you're gonna hit a Warlock, especially in higher ranks, guys? It might be fun to play Warlock, but it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be performing well, I guess. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and jump into these power rankings. Once again, all this data is provided by Vicious Syndicate. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really appreciate all the work that they put into these reports, and they kind of allow me to do these videos in a way. But yeah, guys, let's look at all ranks. This covers every single rank. Tier 1, Mid-Range Paladin, Secret Mage, Freeze Mage, Token Shaman, Aggro Paladin, and Pirate Warrior. All these decks are going to do you really good. They're just good decks, right? I think Freeze Mage is number 3, Mid-Range Paladin being number 1. But honestly, if you're going to stick with one deck throughout the whole climb, I'd probably go with Freeze Mage or Secret Mage. Because in rank 5 to rank 1, we got Mid-Range Paladin, Secret Mage, Aggro Paladin, Freeze Mage, and Token Shaman. We're dropping Pirate Warrior here. And yeah, Pirate Warrior is top of tier 2. It's still a good deck, but you can see the little change there. But when we get to Legend, this is where the big change is. This is where the big change is. The top 2 decks, the only 2 tier 1 decks, Freeze Mage and Secret Mage. So, if you're going to pick one, guys, you're going to pick one deck, it's got to be Freeze Mage, because Freeze Mage is so strong right now. So, I guess the sum of this, the moral of the story, play Freeze Mage. It's kind of just OP right now. So I'm going to give a little breakdown of each of the classes, kind of talk about my favorite deck from each class, and yeah, guys, I guess that's usually what we do, so that's what we'll do this time. And we're going to start it off with Mage, and for Mage, my favorite deck, I mean, it's obviously going to be Freeze Mage. I've been speaking so highly of it, and the only reason I'm speaking so highly of it is because it has the stats to back it up, guys. This is just insane. Just with how aggro the meta is, you just got all the counters. If you're playing aggro against a Freeze Mage, you just feel like you can't win. Like, they just have all the answers. And it's because They do. My favorite version, which doesn't mean it's the best version. There's multiple versions. There's Laughing's Freeze Mage, Sally's Hybrid Freeze Mage, but my favorite, Medivh's Freeze Mage. Not Mediv. George C's Mediv Freeze Mage. This one actually drops the Antonidas in favor of Mediv, which I actually really like. I don't know, it kind of just fits my playstyle a little bit better, so that's what I end up doing. If you prefer having Antonidas instead, you can go with Laughings, but I do like George C's Mediv Freeze Mage. I need a little bit more practice with Freeze Mage. It's definitely a very, very high skill cap deck to play. So if you're looking for something that requires a lot of skill, hey, maybe go with that. And actually, only 4,940 dust for this one. That's not too budget, but I mean, that's on the lower end of most of the decks that are popular right now. So Druid, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with Token and Jade, but nothing too crazy is going on. There is Stan Cifka's Moonfire Jade Druid, which I played. I didn't do a great example of playing it, I guess. Everyone's hating on the misplays, but whatever. It's a fun deck. It's a good one, so go ahead and check out Stan Cifka's Moonfire Jade Druid. As far as Token, I'm not really going to talk about any of those. They've been the same since, I don't know, the first couple months of the expansion. Nothing's really changed. It's kind of getting a little stale and boring to me, but they're good decks nonetheless. But what I want to talk about is Easy Big, Easy Ramp Druid. This deck, oh my god, guys, this deck is so cool. It's so crazy. You got the Anacondas that bring out your high ramp druids, your high ramp minions, and oh my god, you just ramp it up. You play Deathwing, Sarah. You see the list here, guys. It's a crazy list. It is expensive. I haven't played it because I don't have Deathwing Dragonlord, and I don't have Kun the Forgotten King. I don't have them. So I'm kind of waiting. These are very niche legendaries, so yeah, I'm waiting, but I'm really excited to play this one. These are definitely the next crafts I'll be doing, because this list just looks insane, and it has really good, it's got a good track record according to what I've seen from people talking about this deck. Doing super good. So, like I said earlier, Rogue is kind of getting crushed by the popularity that is Freeze Mage. It's kind of just stomping it, really. It's getting rough out there for Miracle and Quest Rogues, not only because of the nerf, but yeah, Freeze Mage. I think the best thing Rogue's got for it right now is the untapped potential that is Tempo Rogue. Tempo and water archetypes are just, I feel like they could be so good, guys. My favorite rogue right now that I'm going to talk about is Sudaka's Water Tempo Rogue. This thing, I've been playing this a lot. It's probably one of my favorite decks right now. It's just so fun to play, and it just flows so nicely. It is a little bit expensive, running, Finja, Zarl, Shaku, Edwin, and Patches. That's a lot of legendaries. It's also got Vile Spine Slayer, and, it's just 2 Murloc War Leaders. It's kind of expensive. Lots of legendaries and epics, but it is a fun deck. If you have the cards, I definitely recommend taking it for a spin. It's got such a nice flow to it. It's just a lot of fun. So definitely check out Sudaka's Water Tempo Rogue. I will post a picture of the thumbnail, but I do have the video of me playing this. So if you check that out, if you want, if you don't want to, whatever, I don't care. You do what you want. Warrior's kind of been stable, also mostly just Pirate Warrior and Taunt Warrior. Not too much has changed. Pirate Warrior's really strong. Taunt Warrior is still pretty good, but the thing I think is most exciting about Warrior right now is Control Warrior. Yeah, that's right, Control Warrior. Fibonacci came out with a good Control Warrior, right, guys? He hit rank 10. Rank 10? He hit top 10 in Legend, and he secured a top 25 finish with his Control Warrior list. So, I mean, this one definitely looks like a lot of fun. It's not as expensive as I would have imagined a Control Warrior being, but it's still pretty expensive, probably for most of you. I mean, it's got Alex and Gromash and Elise, so It's a little bit pricey at 9,400 dust, but it's still good. It's a fun archetype, and it's something that's new, something that's fresh, something that's fun. So that's what I like going on about Warrior. Shaman is just so good, but only one archetype really. We got Token that's doing super good, but mid-range kind of doing not too hot, and then we got Control Shaman, which is pretty much a dead archetype at this point. But Token Evolve Shaman is so good right now. Top 3 decks for sure, right behind Freeze Mage and Secret Mage, I would say. It's starting to see the same 30 cards. You're just seeing the same 30 cards over and over, but some people are tweaking it a little bit, throwing in some Sea Giants. So if you want to change it a little bit, you know, you kind of keep most of the same things, but maybe you drop a devolve for a Sea Giant, or maybe you drop an evolve for a Sea Giant, or maybe a devolve and a doppelgangster for 2 Sea Giants, or maybe just a doppelgangster for a Sea Giant. But anyways, if you want to tweak it up a little bit, you want a little tweak, throw in Sea Giant. But overall, the deck is just, at its core, it is solid. But yeah, if you're looking for something different, you just throw in some Sea Giants and swap some of the cards that you feel are underperforming. So like I said, Paladin is super, super exciting right now, at least in my opinion, with Jambray's UK aggro Murloc Paladin. This thing, once again, hit #1 the end of June. So good. And it's so different compared to, you know, the normal list that we've been seeing. It does run, you know, a pirate package being Patches and 2 Dread Corsairs, which is really cool. And then it runs 2 Rallying Blades, which is really good because most minions only have 3 health. So you're able to kill most things in one swing. Like, why waste it with the True Silver champion if you're just going to overkill? The heal from True Silver isn't as important as just killing a minion and having a weapon. But anyways, we do have some synergy between Rallying Blade and Argent Squire. You don't necessarily need the synergy, but it's just there if your Squires are on the board and you happen to get a Rallying Blade. It doesn't hurt to buff them up. Also, with the Argent Squires, it gets some good synergy with the Spike Ridge Steed or the Blessing of Kings. You can turn a 1/1 into a 5/5 with a shield, right? So that's pretty good. I've definitely been enjoying this deck. I do have a video of me playing it. I'll link the thumbnail, but go ahead and check that one out too if you're looking to see a little bit of action with the Jambray Murloc deck. But mid-range is starting to lose popularity. Control is still good, but it's kind of just the same old Control. So if you want same old Control, just go play one of the older decks, really. Nothing really new, not too many changes. So with Priest, Priest is actually pretty decent if you're good at teching to the pocket meta that you're facing. If you know exactly what to play and when to play it or when to tech it, right? Then you'll do just fine with Priest. But if you don't have too much experience with Priest or you don't know how to tech things, I would recommend maybe just kind of avoiding Priest. But if you must Priest, I think the coolest thing is AAECAZICATMDvqsCDkBf Control Priest. He actually hit top 100. Tic Tac did with this deck, so that's pretty cool. Must be a good deck, right? And it's also really fun because it has, you know, Enzoth, and that's just a blast. But once again, you kind of need to know when to tech things. If you're seeing a lot of board floods, maybe you want Dragonfires and Holy Novas, stuff like that. And if you're not, maybe you don't want those. But you know, there's so many different techs you can do. But with Tic Tac's Enzoth Control Priest, it's a lot of fun. Definitely check this one out if you're looking for a fresh new Control Priest variant that, you know, just performs well on ladder. Hunter is kind of, to me, is just boring. It's just the same old mid-range skeleton in every single Hunter deck you see. It is one of the more budget-oriented decks, so if you want something budget, something that performs well on ladder, go ahead and play, you know, like Freeka's mid-range Hunter. It does run the 2 Nesting Rocks, which will be decent against a lot of decks that are just aggro with low health, flooding the board, such as, you know, the token decks. So Nesting Rock won't be, you know, too bad against those sort of decks. You also got crawlers in there if you're facing a lot of pirates, and Unleash the Hounds if you're seeing a lot of Flood once again. But mid-range Hunter, not my favorite, but it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be decent. So go ahead, play that if you want. And if you want a budget deck, definitely check it out. I kind of just recommend avoiding Warlock until next expansion. Hopefully it'll see a revival, right? But right now, why would you play a Warlock over anything else? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Even pro players like Firebat, you know, they're not finding huge success with Warlock. So I would just stick to other classes, guys. As far as the best deck of July, it's definitely going to be Freeze Mage, guys. If you want one deck to see all the way to Legend, all the way through the ladder, it's gonna be Freeze Mage. It is so good. It is dominating the meta. It is better than Burn Mage. It's better than everything else. It's just the best. If you want something budget, you know, maybe you end up going with there's a budget Jade Druid going around. Supposedly the guy hit Legend with it. I don't know. You could try it out. He posts not a lot of proof, but maybe it's something for you to try for you broke boys. For you broke boys out there, you got the budget Legend Jade Druid that you can try. Other than that, you know, there's I guess Freeze Mage isn't too bad. It's not too bad. It's a little under 6,000. So you got that. If you want to, you can play mid-range Hunter. Once again, it's always just mid-range Hunter budget. But for you broke boys, you kind of stuck in the Hunter. But if you can't afford one deck, make it the best deck, which is Freeze Mage. Just do that, guys. If you can afford one, do Freeze Mage. Please, you'll thank yourself. Just do Freeze Mage. So that's about it, guys. That pretty much wraps up July. If you guys like the video, please like the video and sub and share and tell all your friends and that. It really helps me out. Thanks again to Vicious Syndicate for the stats. Without them, you know, we'd have no stats to go off of. So very thankful for them for doing these reports every week. But yeah, guys, go ahead and check out my other videos also. You know, I do a lot of deck spotlights, and I'm starting to incorporate more ladders and doing some wild here and there. Some wild every now and then. But yeah. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. So, oh, if you want to support me, there will be an Amazon link below to purchase some salt. You can purchase anything. Once you click that link, anything you purchase besides the salt, I mean the salt too, but really anything, I get a small kickback and no additional charge to you guys. It kind of just helps me out and makes me feel better about myself. And in return, I keep making more videos. So, so yeah, guys, you've all been very supportive so far, and I really do appreciate that. So that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.